Connecticut Huskies, Jim Calhoun, in his 21st season, an unbelievable winning percentage, struggling this year. As you take a look at his lineup, a young squad indeed. Jerome Dyson and A.J. Price, youngsters in the backcourt and the front court. Stanley Robinson, Hashim Thabit, and Jeff Adrian. For the Georgetown Hoyas, a young backcourt as well. Jonathan Wallace, Jesse Sapp are the guys who will be handling the ball. And the front court, DeJuan Summers, Roy Hibbert, and Jeff Green, an outstanding all-around talent. John Thompson, who has brought success back to Georgetown in his 3rd season, and boy, has he done the job nicely. Officiating today's game, Jim Burr, the lead official, Pat Driscoll, and Brian Kersey. Today's game is being brought to you in HD TV by Harris Corporation, the world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. And we are underway. As Mike Jaminski mentioned in the open, he is looking forward to this one with 2 big men in an old-school classic big man matchup.
Well, Hibbert and Thabit down low, both true 7-footers. We talked about the top, Thabit raw offensively, JB, but Hibbert, you know, remember his freshman year only averaged 5 points, and he has really grown in his time here at Georgetown.
Maturation, the key word for both of these young big men. Nice pass on the inside to Hibbert. Good ball movement by Thabit.
A good catch inside, good shape up. That's normally a tough pass to complete, but he was open 3 feet from the basket. Good for him to get in a rhythm early.
Jeff Green of Georgetown, really a point forward. He initiates a lot. Good drive by Summers, probably the most active player out there. Nice follow by the big fella Hibbert.
The center stepping up on cue, accounting for their first 2 points, and the rim opened up because of the drive that time by Summers. A 3 for deep.
Price off the back of the iron, rebounded by Wallace.
I mentioned at the top of these 2 of the best defensive teams in the Big East. So don't anticipate a very high-scoring game here today.
Good move to the basket by Hibbert. The hook was not there. You mentioned the struggles of Connecticut, but they have done the job defensively. You're right, Mike. Dyson off the back of the iron again, a little too hard. Keys to the game, Big Mike.
For UConn, JB, it's the free throw line. They lost to going over by 4, and they missed 20 free throws in that game. They're last in the conference in that category. For Georgetown, defensive rebounds. UConn misses a lot, but they get a lot of their misses back for second chance opportunities.
Adrian. Jeff Adrian certainly has been playing very good basketball. 6'7", 238, a sophomore who certainly has an awful lot of potential.
Right, he's their best option inside. A great low post player, can go out, knock down the jump shot as he showed in that game.
This is Green down low. Good pump fake. Patient. Hibbert showing his mobility down low. Back to Green. Georgetown doing an excellent job of playing volleyball on the offensive end, and it paid dividends.
There.
Price being dogged a little too aggressively. The foul there on Jonathan Wallace, his first. Wallace, a very steady guard for Georgetown, and John Thompson looks to him for leadership. Jonathan Mandeldove in for Georgetown.
Yes, indeed.
Patience on the offensive end by Connecticut. This is Price to the hoop. Good drive and penetration. It stays Huskies ball with 22 on the shot clock.
And JB, that's one thing that John Thompson worried about. UConn puts a lot of pressure on you off the dribble.
And a smart thing to do. Blocked by Green. The Big East Player of the Week showing his versatility.
And I think maybe the best player in the conference this year. Really does it on both ends of the floor. Here, it's really difficult to block a jump shot, and you saw the distance that he had to cover to get there.
From the wing, off the mark, rebounded by DeJuan Summers of the Hoyas. They will push it up. If it's not there, you won't see a secondary break. They will set it up and run the offense. Green, nice running hook. An impressive talent indeed.
Well, we're seeing a lot of old school moves here early. The sweeping hook that time by Jeff Green, and then the hook earlier by Hibbert.
Robinson being defended by Green. Good hands deflecting the ball. A.J. Price is the guy that Calhoun wants to be the leader of this squad.
Well, he really has gone through a lot in the last couple of years.
Went through a lot, penetrating, couldn't find the basket. Hoyas on the break. Wallace. Rebounded by Adrian.
And he had board coverage, so not a bad shot in the break by Wallace that time. And he's a guy that will stretch the defense for you for Georgetown to knock down the three.
Connecticut doing a good job of penetrating. Can't get the easy basket. The foul there.
Talk about the versatility of Jeff Green. He can hit the shot. You have to honor him, but he can also put it on the deck. Sweet running hook by Jeff Green. There it is again. You draw on the defender. With the beat out, the lane opens up for Georgetown, so a good idea to attack the rim.
UConn can't find the mark in the early, going 2 of 8 from the field.
They haven't even hit the rim on a lot of the shots on drives. So
a little cold to say the least, huh?
Yes, sir.
Summers, 3-shot, no good. Ahead to Price. Nice tip in, no good by Adrian. Tie ball, jump ball. Green and Adrian, the arrow points Georgetown's direction. 2-point lead by the Hoyas. Mike, with attention turning to the NCAA tournament, take a look at some surprise leaders in their respective conferences.
Well, you look at that BYU. Air Force has gotten most of the pub there this year, but BYU leading there. Gonzaga, the loss of Josh Heidfeld, huge. Texas, Kevin Durant, I think the player of the year as a freshman. In Virginia, how about Dave Lato, a Jim Calhoun disciple, getting that program turned around. And Wright State, again, Butler has been the Horizon League darling all year, but Wright State the #1 in the seed in their tournament.
I tell you what, there is excitement down in Charlottesville. You're right with the job that Dave Lato is doing there. Again, as you mentioned, a Calhoun disciple. Hibbert, 4 points, 4 rebounds already, the big man for the Hoyas. Posting up nicely. Good pass by Hibbert, blocked nicely by Thabit, and that is his specialty.
No, he really cleans up a lot of mistakes. Now, that was a great pass by Hibbert, the give and go inside, but the beat at 7-3. It's almost in this game, even if he doesn't block a shot, you're aware of where he is at all times.
Need to be. Nice pick set by Hibbert. Green loses the handle. Here come the Huskies. Dyson. Nice job of using his body and the basket to shield against the bigger Hibbert.
UConn wants to get out and run, JB. They struggle in the half court, but they're better in the open floor, and Dyson has had a terrific second half of the season.
Which is exactly why you won't see the Hoyas press them full court more than likely. Thabit, I believe, will be whistled for the foul there.
And here's a look. We talk about live ball turnovers. That time, Georgetown struggled. You know, Hibbert makes a nice effort to get back, but really Dyson much faster. And usually in those types of situations, you're going to convert those turnovers into points.
In for UConn, Craig Austrie and Curtis Kelly. Nice switch of hand move as well on that last layup using the body and the rim. Good defensive deflection there. Blocked. Kelly with a nice move to the basket, but couldn't get it over the outstretched arms of the big fella.
Hadn't built up a sweat yet, JB. Hadn't been in the game, and all of a sudden I got the ball and I've got to convert off the dribble in 40 feet. So over a 7-foot shot blocker.
But the right idea to take it to the basket.
And so far, UConn doing a nice job getting deflections out front.
Patrick Ewing, Jr., number 33, in for the Hoyas.
Very much an energy guy for Georgetown. Comes in, gets it done on the defensive end of the floor.
Modest adjective is enthusiasm. He puts it down, rest assured. Adrian off the mark. This is Jesse Sapp. Sapp with the 3. Hibbert with the rebound. Hibbert again. Good second effort by Roy Hibbert.
And what I like there, JB, kept the ball up. He didn't bring it down so that the guards could strip him, kept it above his head, and converted on 2 offensive rebounds.
That's what you call playing tall. Hibbert, 6 points and 6 rebounds. Impressive start. Great block, adding to that impressive start by Hibbert. Wallace. Sapp travel. Near the end of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. To honor their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. America's brand supports America's best, Chevy, an American revolution.
You know, we talked earlier as a player, JB, I didn't like noon starts. It shortened your preparation time. It took a while to get into the game. And you can see cold shooting by both teams, 7 of 27 to start. Now, a lot of that is Hibbert and Thabit inside. But still, I think it's taking these teams a while to get warmed up.
So they share your aversion to the early starts, huh?
At least in this game.
And speaking of in this game, Marcus Johnson, #1 in for the Huskies. Dyson, Adrian, Thabit, Craig Austrie, and Adrian, the 5 on D for the Huskies. Inside to Hibbert. Wallace, good penetration, double clutch. It was short. Huskies on the run. This is Johnson, Marcus Johnson. And there's a blocking foul called on Jeff Green, his first.
There's a look inside as we go out on the break, and this UConn has done a nice job getting out in the open floor. We talked about they'd much rather get out and run against Georgetown selectively, but doing it on missed shots and turnovers. One of the issues for UConn this year has been at the small forward position, trying to find productivity, JB. Marcus Johnson, Stanley Robinson have been a little spotty.
Run your brackets online for free with Bracket Manager on CBS Sports Line. Invite your friends, fill out a bracket, and let Bracket Manager do the rest. Sign up now at cbssportsline.com/brackets. And I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit of that going on as we head toward NCAA tournament time. Off the mark there by Marcus Johnson on that second free throw, a 6'6" sophomore from Westchester High School in LA.
You know, it seemed maybe early in the year, there are only like 5 or 6 teams that could make the Final Four. I think that's expanded to almost 15 now, or 20. I mean, there's so many uncertainties heading into the tournament. It's going to be really exciting.
Nothing uncertain by that shot. Patrick Ewing Jr., you talked about him being Mr. Enthusiasm. He will pick up the intensity for the Hoyas by his aggressive style of play. A 9-2 run by the Hoyas right now. Double clutch move. Huskies still can't find it, but a good follow-up by Marcus Johnson.
See, I think the thing about playing against shot blockers, it opens up the offensive rebound because they're going after everything, and that time Hibbert went after a shot probably had no chance getting to, but exposed Georgetown on the weak side.
Green had the shot, thought about it, thought better of it. This one he likes. In and out. Rebounded by Adrian. He gets the handle on it.
How about Hibbert? He's gotten a lot of touches in the low post, but he will also get out and be a screener in this offense. And you got Green a nice look at that shot. He wasn't able to knock it down.
Both teams warming up from three-point range, as you saw that graphic indicate. It's an 11-8 Georgetown lead, 12-17 remaining in the first half of play.
Switch now. They're trying to find Mandeldorf inside.
Austrie trying to take advantage of Hibbert, who was guarding him out high. A smart thought, but could not capitalize on it. Second turnover by the Huskies. You see how high Hibbert is out there on the offense. Very comfortable out high, something you find more in today's game with the big men as opposed to yesteryear. But a turnover by the Hoyas. Wiggins penetrating, and a blocking foul called on the Hoyas again. That Jeff Green, his second personal foul. There's a break in the action. Back at the Verizon Center after this. Mike, teams that have been getting their act together late.
Georgia Tech, a big win against North Carolina, improving their chances. Illinois third in the Big Ten. Maryland playing as well as anybody right now. A win at Duke and Syracuse, so their flag was at half-mast, and they've resuscitated their chances. Now we look at Hibbert here to start early. He has been a factor at both ends of the floor. Offensive rebound right in front of the rim with the putback, and then the block inside. Nice start for him in the paint.
You know, Mike, I had asked Coach Thompson about Hibbert and his ability to play a physical game. I'm impressed so far with what I'm seeing. He is able to handle a physical style of play.
Yeah, and we've noticed, I think he's gotten more touches down low early in this game than I've seen in recent games, and then also the ability to step out on the high post and open lanes up for cutters in that offense.
And when we went to commercial, you saw Jeff Green pick up his second personal for Georgetown. He's on the bench. Jeremiah Rivers is in for Georgetown.
That's the thing that Ewing Jr., he's the flexibility. He can defend in 3 or 4 different positions, so now he can fill in for Green defensively, but not quite as good offensively.
Even though it's been a case of cold shooting, as you can see from the field goal percentage, they're a close game, 1 point. Georgetown lead 11-24 in the first half. Rivers to Ewing. Ewing opening. Off the back of the iron, rebounded nicely by Doug Wiggins. Huskies do a nice job of taking it to the hoop, and a good pull-up that time for the score by Johnson.
Well, a couple of good screens freed him up, and instead of settling for the jump shot, he continued to curl, put 1 dribble on the floor, and was able to get to the rim.
Hibbert with the hook, stopping a 6-0 run by Connecticut. 8 points by the big fella Hibbert for Georgetown.
They're going to rely on him with Green out of the game. He's going to get a lot of touches in the offense, as I said, and he's seeing a big basket. One of the best shooters in the country, just under 70% field goal percentage.
Just watching Hibbert's demeanor, very impressed with his poise. Boy, Connecticut certainly does an excellent job of taking it to the hoop. Nice move by Wiggins.
It's going to be a big key for the perimeter players of Georgetown fighting over screens. UConn does a nice job of getting their players shots. They just haven't converted them this year.
Summers. Some thought he traveled on that one. Wallace back to the big fella again. Aggressively to the basket. Rebounded by Thabit.
I think somehow with him, you've got to make him turn over his right shoulder. He's just too strong going in with the right hand into the lane.
Make him go the other way.
Yep, make him beat you with a weakness.
Show that he can do it. Good defensive tap there by Summers. And a good hustle in return by Connecticut. Wiggins. Well, you know what? They might allow that on the football field, but not here on the basketball floor. Summers with the foul.
Well, I think with Summers, it's a great play by a guy his size on a point guard, but right now you've got to find a guard. Give it up to Wallace. Let a ball handler finish out in the open floor, and then he just compounded the turnover with the foul.
That's something that coaches try to drive home. Let the ball handler handle it, right? Big guys always want to show they've got some dribblability, if you will.
Well, it isn't the thing. You want to be a finisher. You know, you want to score points, so give the ball up, you'll get it back.
Georgetown ball.
And that's a guy's name we haven't called much for UConn. Jeff Adrian has not been in this offense early on. Georgetown doing a nice job of limiting his touches.
4th turnover by Connecticut. Georgetown has 5. Rivers to Ewing, inside to Hibbert. Blocked. Jump ball, and the arrow goes the other way. It'll be Huskies ball.
Nice play by Mantle. Again, he goes to his right hand, but because he turns his body, he brings the ball right into the shot blocker. Good defensive play.
Hand straight up. How often have we heard that, Mike, on D?
Absolutely.
Wallace, Rivers, Ewing, Hibbert, and Sapp the 5 on D for Georgetown. Down low. Adrian going up strong and scores. Good move by Jeff Adrian in traffic.
Well, they got him a nice post up. He set the screen, and then they came back to the weak side with him low.
A 10-2 run by Connecticut. Georgetown wants to talk about it. Connecticut up by 3. Time now for our Applebee's neighborhood favorites. The year was 1984 when Patrick Ewing led Georgetown to his first national title. Ewing named the tournament's most outstanding player as the Hoyas defeated Houston 84-75. And we all remember all too well redemption for Georgetown's Brett Brown, whose errant pass in '82 helped North Carolina win that title. That picture ensconced in most people's mind. John Thompson holding him and consoling him. And there is Patrick Ewing. Boy, what a name to have, and his son is here playing in his footsteps.
I saw enough of that man in my career in the league, and talk about shots getting blocked. I was on plenty of his posters. But, you know, and his son has embraced it. He's wearing 33. You know, the fact that there's never been a number retired at Georgetown, an interesting thing to me. So he said, yeah, I've been Patrick Ewing's son my whole life. They obviously have different games, different styles, but talking to Patrick, you know, for his son, this has been a very positive experience transferring back to Georgetown.
And in no way seeming a burden for Junior at all.
No, he handles it very, very well.
Wallace Green is back in for Georgetown. This is Jeremiah Rivers, most know the son of Doc Rivers, coach of the Boston Celtics.
You can see UConn made that run with Green out of the game. They needed him back on the floor.
Mike Jaminsky, I am so impressed with the mobility of the big fella Hibbert to take it to the basket.
Well, and this is not only catching it down in the low post or in the box, but how about squaring it up, couple of dribbles and finishing with the right hand. Roy Hibbert really showing all phases of his game.
The foul on Jonathan Mandeldove, the freshman out of Portsmouth, Virginia.
But yet another, you know, it's tough. You don't want to give up the middle of the floor, but I think you have to shade that right hand of Hibbert. If he can get there, he's shown in this game, he's going to score.
And he has done that nicely in the first half. 11 points, 7 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, and he certainly, talk about maturation, he has made strides throughout his stay here at Georgetown.
He's already at his game averages with 8:25 left to play in the first half.
And more vocal. I know something that's what the elder Thompson, the Hall of Fame coach, wanted to see out of the big fella as well. A bit more, as he calls it, basketball arrogance, and we're seeing some signs of that today. Robinson down low to Thabit, blocked by Hibbert. Third block in the game for Hibbert.
Well, that's the inability of Thabit to shoot with his left hand. He came back with his right hand into the shot blocker.
Rivers. Did they count it? Traveling? They call traveling. Rivers gets the style points, but no basket. Well, to take the cue from a CBS program, it has been a matter of a cold case, if you will. Both teams from the field, but the big man, Roy Hibbert of Georgetown, has been doing the job. And I know, Mike, as an outstanding big man in college, you were excited about this matchup. Hibbert is showing an awful lot.
And really doing it in a number of ways. 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks. That's usually a game for him, JB, but he's been outstanding. And I like the fact that even when he's not scoring, he's getting touches in the offense. So he's collapsing the defense. Things are going through him. He's also a screener out in that Princeton offense outside.
All tied at 16, 7:50 left in the first half. Hibbert will need some help, though. The next highest scoring Hoya has 3 points. And there is a foul being called here on Jonathan Wallace, his first. Austrie, Dyson, Robinson, Thabit, and Adrian, the 4 on offense for the Huskies of Connecticut. Foul down low. I believe this is going to be called on Rivers. Monday, Dave's in the audience, plus Jack Hanna's Animals and a top 10 with Christina Aguilera. That'll be Monday on The Late Show.
And Dyson's a guy they've got to get going, JB. His last 5, he's averaged 21 points per, and struggling here, but trying to set some screens and get him some open looks.
Georgetown showing a different look defensively.
Yeah, give them a zone, and against a poor shooting team, that's a pretty good idea to switch up.
Adrian had to change it, alter because of the outstretched arm of Hibbert. This is Wallace for the Hoyas. Nice, patient look by Wallace. Ewing off the mark. Here come the Huskies. Austria got away with the travel that time. Hibbert alertly with the loose ball. Coach Thompson tells Wallace to slow it down.
Well, they will run the shot clock. They'll play their pace. They'll run when they have the opportunity. But a good suggestion right that time by John Thompson to get things under control and get a good possession for this team.
Good ball movement and patience being displayed on the offensive end. And look at the big fella out front handling the ball. Hibbert down low to Ewing. Back out to Rivers. The three off the mark.
Had to take that shot with the shot clock on his back.
Robinson with the rebound for the Huskies. Adrian posting low.
Inside.
Finally, they get it to him. Up, and you know what? That's one of those intimidation turnovers. Hibbert forced a turnover because he was in the middle. I think you know about that.
Yeah, Hibbert coming over, but what should have happened that time? Adrian should have used a bounce pass. That was an awfully tough pass for Thabit to catch, and his hand's a little suspect anyway, so you've got to give him a soft ball to catch.
Good point. There was a little too much zip on that pass that far down low. Good point, Mike.
And from 3 feet away, the best you can do is try to get a hand in the way and slow it down.
Jeff Green back in the lineup for the Hoyas. Georgetown only one field goal the last 7 minutes. Sapp to Hibbert up high. Sapp, typical New York move, stripped though as he was heading to the basket. This is Dyson, tapped away by Wallace, recovered by the Huskies. Good aggressive play on the board by the Huskies, and it pays dividends as Stanley Robinson goes up for the shot. He is fouled by Hibbert. That's his first. Coaches love to see the second and third effort on the glass.
Well, and that was, Robinson at that time, he was just quicker off the floor both times than anybody for Georgetown. Again, you got Hibbert out there as a shot blocker, but as that play unfolded, he was the only big back.
The first one is good. On both survivor tribes, there's fighting between the men and the women. Which team will pull together to win a knockdown drag-out competition? Don't miss a new episode of Survivor Fiji. It'll be Thursday on CBS.
I'm shocked to find out there's fighting between men and women.
I'm glad you picked up on that one. I decided to leave it alone. Well,
you look at Robinson, though. The thing they need from him, Jaden, they need him to be more aggressive, and you saw it on that play. It's taken him a while to get used to playing basketball at this level. And that's one of the things he needs to work on, but maybe that play an illustration of that starting to come.
Wallace. Patience on the offensive end. Wallace. You know, Mike, I was just about to mention, I'd like to see him shoot the ball a bit more. He's got some open opportunities, Jonathan Wallace.
And he's a great three-point shooter, 47%. So he's going to pull that out and use that. But the thing, too, we talk about Hibbert playing out on the floor. What that does, it brings Thabit with him and opens up the lanes inside to get the shot blocker out of the paint.
Thabit having some difficulty inside scoring. Only 2 points so far. Green draws the contact, scores anyway. Jeff Green.
That's about as good defensively as Adrian's going to play. And he stayed on his feet, gave him a little bump. He was just beat by a better shot.
Thabit has got the size advantage on the inside with Sapp at 6'3", covering him, but the jumper drained by Adrian.
Now, either way, Hibbert was caught in between that time, and by Adrian flashing high, he put him in no man's land and got a good look.
Adrian with 6 points for the Huskies. 21-20, Georgetown by 1. Under 4 left in the first half. Green, nice pass to the corner. Hibbert with the rebound. Good hustle Crawford, wide open jumper for three. Back of the iron. Rebounded by Adrian. This is Dyson. Adrian warming up nicely. He now has 8 points for the Huskies, who are up by 1.
And he showed a nice 15-foot jump shot. Great form in this game. Not involved in the low post, but can go out and score.
Hibbert. Good kick out. Crawford foul by A.J. Price. Second foul. 1 point Connecticut lead. Back with more after this.
So far, a nice start for UConn. We talked about their road troubles at the top of the broadcast, but only 2-5 in conference this year, 2-7 overall. A little different team away from home, but very much in this ball game, doing it defensively.
Jim Calhoun, you saw the shot of him. He said one of his biggest challenges this season has been modulating, if you will, himself, not to get on the kids too hard because they are so young, still learning.
11 freshmen and sophomores, and just a lot of teaching this year from the coaching staff, much more than they're used to.
Nice follow-up by Dewan Summers on the Jeff Green miss. Wiggins for three. Back of the iron, rebounded by Sapp.
That's the thing you have to guard against Georgetown. Early, long shots. If you work through you, because they control tempo, the tendency maybe is to get down and launch something quickly. They want good shots.
That counts. That's a good one. Jesse Sapp, and a timeout called by Jim Calhoun. A 3-point Georgetown lead. Well, Michael, I love the title here. The madness begins, and that's for sure. As we take a look at Penn having already clinched the Ivy League, and they have been and continue to be a nemesis for all the Ivy League teams. And you take a look at the others playing later with conference championship matchups.
Yeah, Greg Marshall down at Winthrop. He's done a perennially great job getting that team in the tournament. Now about Bobby Cremins down at College of Charleston. Davidson has had a great year. Bobby McKillop does a terrific job there year in and year out.
If you can coach, you can coach.
I mean, he was dying to get back in. And actually, Greg Marshall took the job at the College of Charleston, went back, pulled his name back out, and that's what gave Bobby Cremins the opening.
Dyson with the foul there for Connecticut, and that is the 5th team foul for Connecticut, 7 team fouls for Georgetown. 2:19 left in the first half. Hoyas on top by 3. Largest lead for the Hoyas has been 5.
Talk about Green playing point forward now out front in this offense. Without Hibbert on the floor, much more open.
Good defense that time by Jeff Adrian. Give him credit. Great hustle there by Dewan Summers. Hoyas regain possession.
A long shot like that for UConn, and they have to rebound as 5 players. Everybody has to hang in and get possession of the ball before they run out. Georgetown just quicker to the miss.
Cross-court pass to Ewing. Well, I'm sure his dad approves of that. His dad tried to take some shots like that as well.
Later in his career, he drifted outside a little bit, but you want to beat a tough defense, throw a cross-court pass, and that's what gave Ewing the open look.
6 points for Ewing. Hoyas on a 7-0 run. Biggest lead for the Hoyas this afternoon. Lean in, nice tap in by Thabit. And Thabit had a player come down on him. You see him limping a little bit there, but a good follow.
Well, with a smaller Georgetown team, they've got to really concentrate on blocking out inside. Thabit just coming over the top that time, uninhibited. Green just kind of lost track. He circled in front and came down a little awkwardly on that right ankle. Looked like tweaked it a little bit. Here's a look. You like the aggressiveness, the move. Offensive rebounding is just hard work, and he refused to let himself get blocked out.
Good eyes there, Mike Jaminski, and that's exactly what happened. So Thabit on the bench right now with 46 seconds left in the first half. Six on the shot clock. Block, goaltending. Nice drive by Jeff Green, taking it to the basket.
And I don't think that ball ever had a chance to go in, JB. Manteldug would have been better served to just let it go. It probably would have got there, but from our angle, it didn't look like it had a chance. This is one you have to lay off. That was partially blocked at the start, and then the goaltend inside.
Mike, you're right. It looked as if it might have been a little shy.
Yeah, it's tough to lay off if you're a shot blocker. You're just conditioned to going after the ball, but sometimes you have to be selective.
When I was a little lighter, I could go up there and get it.
You have a good memory.
Had to dust off some cobwebs for that one, though, Mike. About a 1 second difference between the shot clock. Game clock there. Nice basket dropped in by Dyson. Ewing off the mark. So that's the end of the first half with the score. Georgetown 30, Connecticut 26. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Thanks, guys. Coming up on AT&T at the half, today's scores and highlights, and Seth Davis will give us the latest on the tournament after this message and a word from your local station.
Back here at the Verizon Center as we get set for the second half. Georgetown on top by 4. James Brown along with the handsome one, Mike Jaminski. And as we take a look at the first half, a couple guys have been leading each team. I'm really impressed, though, with Roy Hibbert.
Both front lines, JB, have been very productive. And, you know, you look at what Hibbert has done inside. They really have gone to him early. They tried to get him off. He had this offensive rebound to get himself going. But he's been a factor inside. 11 points for him. And then also defensively with a couple of sendbacks. Then Jeff Adrian got a little slow into the offense, started moving outside, was hitting that medium range jump shot. 8 points for him, 4 of 7 shooting, also 5 rebounds. He leads the Big East in double-doubles with 15.
So, Mike, let's take a look at our Applebee's first half stats.
Well, we thought it was going to be a low-scoring game. It looks like the first team to 60 is going to win this ball game. Low shooting percentage, not much from downtown, and surprisingly not a lot of free throws in this game for either team.
And as we take a look at our in-game box score, you see the numbers there again. Statistical embellishment to what Mike Jaminski said about Adrian leading the charge there for the Huskies, and Roy Hibbert, the big man, really doing a nice job. Jeff Green still getting untracked. We'll see what happens. He did pick up 2 fouls in that first half.
Yeah, and I think that the guy that for UConn, Jerome Dyson, needs to get going. I thought Adrian did a nice job stepping up and carrying him through that first half, but they need some perimeter offense from him.
There have been 4 ties, 10 lead changes in this game in the first half as we get set for the second half. And again, keep in mind, the #1 seed in the Big East at stake if Georgetown is victorious in a Pittsburgh loss later tonight. Georgetown would win the championship outright in the Big East, and the #1 seed Connecticut looking for a win and some momentum going into the Big East tournament. Hibbert fouled by Thabit, so they go right to Hibbert.
You know, the thing about shot blockers, and especially Thabit, he'll let you catch the ball in the post. They like to play behind people and tee you up for the block, but by giving him a foot in the lane, it really allowed him to get in and get inside. You have to do a little better job of three-quartering him, changing the way you play Hibbert.
Second personal on Thabit. So, Mike, the book on Roy Hibbert.
Well, big presence inside. We've seen 2 blocks already. Very good footwork, and that's the thing that's really played out over his career. He's improved that. And as he has shown, he will play in the high post and out in the floor, opening up passing and cutting lanes.
Hibbert 3 of 3 from the free throw line. 13 points. Georgetown tying its biggest lead at 6. Adrian, Dyson, Robinson, Thabit. Price out there. Blocked by Hibbert. Oh, what a lesson.
What a recovery. Went up and challenged Robinson and then had the presence of mind to get down quickly and get the block from behind. Great play.
And calling for the ball down low. Wants it. And knows what to do with it. And a timeout called by the Huskies. Coach Thompson said of Hibbert, the talent and potential is there. I'd agree with him.
Well, he stepped up early in this game, established himself at both ends of the floor. Now here it is, to help the penetration inside, and then being able to come back and get the clean block of the feed. Then the end of the other end, very demonstrative, calling for the ball. You see he gets the post and then the repost, establishing deep position inside.
Mike, that's patience as well. Not forcing it the first time, goes back and gets another pass that was better. Mike, something's got to change defensively.
Well, it's interesting. You see Fabit is out of the game now, JB, and I think they may try to start fronting Hibbert more to try to deny the pass inside. Also, there's got to be better ball pressure on the guy who's making the entry pass on the wing.
Jonathan Mandeldove in for Connecticut at 6'11" for the Huskies. Taking it to the hoop. And a foul. The foul called on Jesse Sapp, his first.
And you can see Dyson there trying to get himself established in the offense. Didn't settle for the jump shot, being a little more aggressive, attacking things in the paint.
Jerome Dyson, a 6'3" freshman out of Rockville, Maryland, Proctor Academy. Over the last 5 games, he's averaged 21.8 a game. Stuck in the office and can't get to a TV? Then sign up for NCAA March Madness on demand and watch the men's tournament online. Get your free VIP pass now at ncaasports.com/MMOD. And the second free throw by Dyson.
Well, and that's the thing that UConn has struggled with. They don't have a true point guard on this team. Price not all the way back from his troubles in the last 2 years, and that's been an issue with this ball club, just trying to manufacture points in the half court. It's been tough.
And again, the trouble specifically of a physical nature for A.J. Price.
Yeah, the leaking in the brain 2 years ago, and so it was cleared to play after a year of dealing with that, which is, I think, a lot more serious than people thought. It's not like turning your ankle. And then the violation of university conduct last year with the full year suspension. And, JD, I don't care who you are or how young you are, you take 2 years off from your sport, it's tough to come back in.
And especially a sport like basketball, Mike, no doubt about it. Although Coach Calhoun says he expects that he will be back fully in terms of his game.
Yeah, I think it's going to take at least this year just to kind of get the timing and the feel back, and I expect him to be much improved at the start of next season.
35-27, Hoyer's up. And they've got the loose ball, Wallace.
Stanley Robinson just carrying it too deep on the dribble that time to the baseline, had no outlet when he got in trouble.
And traveling called on Summers. 8 turnovers each, Georgetown and Connecticut. John Thompson telling his team to get back on D. Connecticut likes to push it.
And that was the focus almost entirely yesterday in practice, watching them. They really concentrated on transition defense.
Great defense by Jeff Green. Good anticipation. Robinson picks up the foul for Connecticut. Stanley Robinson.
Here's a look. We talked about Green and what he can do, and the dead dribble out on the wing. Anytime you pass out toward half court, you risk having that guy shoot the gap and intercept the pass. And just great anticipation by that man right there.
There are many who feel that Jeff Green's game will blossom even more at the next level because he plays in a very controlled system here, but he's got the freelance ability. Summers off the front of the iron, gets his own rebound. Taking it to the hoop, but he's traveling.
You know what, I think that speaks to his unselfishness, that he will play within the system, and you know it's translating into wins to Georgetown. Tough to argue with it, but he is very, very talented.
Marcus Johnson in for Connecticut, replacing Stanley Robinson. Fabit, Price, Johnson, Adrian, and Dyson, the 5 for the Huskies on offense. Good switch back by Wallace. Price gets his own rebound, fouled from behind, and it looks like it may go against Jeff Green. If that's the case, that'll be his 3rd personal foul.
Now a decision for John Thompson to make. Does he let him stay in there and play with 3? You figure a veteran at has the ability to do that, know what your situation is, and adjust accordingly.
With 17:25 left in regulation. So far, Green staying in.
Well, then Georgetown switches to the zone, though, to help him a little bit.
Blocked by Hibbert. The shot of Adrian. Adrian wanted a foul.
You know, it's a little unfair when you can block a shot and never jump. I mean, it's just.
You've done a few of those.
He just, he does a great job of staying on the ground, not going for the pump fake for Adrian, and it's, get this out of here.
Yeah, that's work. Now, Steve Shear, our producer, thinks that I'm actually being critical of you like that. No, if you don't have to jump and block it, hey, that's good, right?
that was always my philosophy. You don't have to jump, don't.
Jeff Adrian penetrating, but loses the handle on it. It'll go over to Georgetown. 10 turnovers by Connecticut, 9 for Georgetown. Calhoun, again, teaching on the sidelines. You heard me mention before, this has been, according to him, his most challenging season, trying to find the balance between constructive criticism and really getting the guy's face and letting them learn.
So you can see the beat now switching around, getting the front on Hibbert with a change in the defense and a turnover for Georgetown.
10 turnovers now for Georgetown. And Georgetown, Dewan Summers goes out. In is Patrick Ewing, Wallace, Green, Hibbert, Patrick Ewing Jr. and Jesse Sapp, the 5 on defense for the Hoyas. Good defense by Sapp. A lazy pass that he intercepted.
And so that's what I was talking about, feeding the post, getting an active pressure on the ball and denying that pass inside. Sapp did a great job.
Good drive by Wallace. I still maintain that kid could be even more dangerous offensively if he had that offensive mindset.
An impressive move going against the shot blocker with his left hand, high arcing. You really have to get it up in the air over Thabit.
10-point lead for the Hoyas, the biggest of the game. Thabit wasn't ready for the pass. Green on the break, pulls up. Wallace back out for the setup on offense. Hibbert wants it down low. Good aggressive move to free himself down low. Good heads up D by Marcus Johnson for Connecticut. 11 turnovers for Georgetown.
Both teams a lot more sloppy in the second half. And the one thing Georgetown hasn't gotten into the offense, any backdoor cuts, I think only one for a score so far today.
Green, right idea, off the mark, rebounded by Jeff Green. Really like Jeff Adrian. Physical player, not afraid to take it to the hoop in traffic.
I may amend my halftime statement and say the first team to 50 might win this ball game.
Good adjustment. Good adjustment. Green for 3. Count it. Timeout. Huskies. If the season were to end today, this would be the seeding for the Big East tournament.
Some intriguing matchups. UConn against Marquette. Now with the one down the bottom, Villanova, West Virginia. West Virginia's a team that can start hitting their threes, but I think maybe the most dangerous team would be Syracuse in that first day, JB, and they made the run last year, winning 4 games. Jerry McNamara put him on his back, and they're playing awfully well down the stretch.
Now, for those who don't know, Mike Jaminski was a 3-time academic All-America. He adjusted his language down. Before you said there were a zillion and one permutations. We'll talk about that later as we step aside for a break. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue after this.
Well, not only am I sitting next to a TV icon, but also a DC basketball legend. Out of DeMatha High School, played for Morgan Wooten, actually turned down John Wooden in a scholarship offer, decided to go to the Duke of the North up at Harvard, had a great career there, but how about this? University of Maryland clips a Uncle Sam poster. We want you up on the top left. That is James Brown. I was recruited by Lefty Drizel. How do you say no to this play? This is a full-page ad in the Washington Post.
Well, you know what? I've overworked this line, but I am too dark to blush. That was pretty good. Did you see how big that afro was?
I saw it.
Oh, my gosh. That was about the heaviest part back then anyway, not the case now.
We want you. That's impressive.
Lefty Drizel was quite the recruiter, the master recruiter, and it was very difficult to say no to that, but Ma Brown, God bless her, said, nope, you're promised Harvard, that's where you're going, and that's where you're going.
Did you get my line of Duke of the North?
Oh, I did. Duke of the North, absolutely. And you know what? Hubie Brown was a coach at Duke when I was playing, was an assistant coach there.
Yeah, Chuck Daly was around that same time, too.
Absolutely, dusting off some cobwebs. Good block from behind. Green blocking Dyson's shot. Georgetown on a 10-1 run and the biggest lead of the game.
And against a team that has trouble scoring, 13 points, a lot to overcome for UConn.
Good pass. Oh, G-man, I am so impressed with the passing of the big fella Hibbert. Wow.
And we talked about him opening up passing lanes, one of the few backdoor cuts that Georgetown has gotten. The reason, this is just old school basketball. Give and go. Summers finishing down the lane.
In talking with Coach Thompson, he hates saying the Princeton-style offense. He calls it just ball movement, sharing the ball. But let me tell you, having played against Pete Carrill, the author of that system at Princeton all those years, backdoors just wore us out, Michael.
And you know what it is, too, JB? It's a great front-running offense. When you have a lead, it forces a team to come out and overplay, and that's when those backdoor cuts open up.
Price's third foul. Pass too hard off the hands of Adrian. Sack, nice pass to Ewing, and Ewing is fouled. If you think FIBA is the first to respond when disaster strikes, you've never met David Cantor and his volunteers. Monday on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
And you know, dubbing it the Princeton-style offense, it's a crutch, I think, for us in trying to convey what it is, because each coach tweaks it, and they have their own version of what they want to have done. But certainly that's the basis. And talk about having a great tutelage. And having his dad and Pete Carrill as the major influences in his life.
And you mentioned Pete Carrill, his dad, John Thompson the elder, said that Coach Carrill and John Thompson III are virtually inseparable, and that John Thompson III really had it out. I guess he felt a lot of animosity toward Pete Carrill his first 2 years at Princeton, but Pete Carrill was testing him, molding him, and shaping him, and now they are inseparable. 15-1 run by the Hoyas.
And with this lead now, Georgetown in the zone, they're going to try to make UConn beat them from the perimeter.
And that's a weakness of UConn. Adrian from the corner, counted.
Yeah, it's a nice job by UConn. Good zone defense. You get the ball to Adrian in the middle at the high post, let things collapse around him, and he finds jump shooters on the perimeter.
First field goal this half for the Huskies, 45-30. Georgetown, 13-20 left in regulation. Green traveling. And we talked about the mentors of John Thompson. The third, his dad, of course, and Pete Carrill.
As I got to know Coach Carrill when I was with the Nets, we had training camp down in Princeton. And it was great to spend time with him and talk basketball. It just shows you both of them over 500 wins. There are a lot of different ways to get it done in this game.
You watched practice yesterday, the boys. I saw it on Thursday. I was flabbergasted that Coach Thompson III does not use a whistle, doesn't even have a whistle around his neck. He says, I want my players to get accustomed to my voice. And when he speaks, they listen.
And you know what? He rarely yells. That's the other thing. He's a very low-key demeanor. He's not a screamer. And then when he opens his mouth, all eyes are on him.
Good aggressive hustle. Adrian goes up and is fouled. Vernon Macklin, who is in, giving a breather to Roy Hibbert, picks up the personal foul, his first.
Well, that's great hustle by Adrian. He didn't give up on the play, JB, and staying right in there. Wallace was vulnerable down on the floor, and he was able to go in and dig it out and get an opportunity to score for his team.
Mike, we've seen Jeff Adrian being very aggressive the entire game, the 6'7", 238-pound forward out of Brookline, Mass. What's the book on Adrian?
Well, he's a warrior. He's got a great body, great strength. He's a relentless rebounder. Both ends of the floor, he gets second chance opportunities and a very good low box game, and he's shown that he can knock the 15-foot jump shot down in this game as well.
He came into this contest saying this game is really big for Connecticut, wanted a win as they head into the Big East tournament. They've got a battle right now. Adrian, 10 points, 5 rebounds, and a 13-point Hoyas lead.
The postseason could be a struggle for UConn, even with the NIT reconfigured, only 32 teams, and they're also guaranteed entrance there with conference champions. So they've got work ahead of them to do, but certainly that second opportunity in New York next week.
Speaking of working, nice soft lefty by Jeff Green. Jeff Green warming up. He's got 11.
I don't know how you play him other than double team him, because he goes left, he goes with both hands, he can shoot the three, he can put it on the floor. He really has all of the weapons in his arsenal.
The beat, handing off. Good defense by the Hoyas.
That was Green helping out too on the curl from the jump shot. Good hand up.
7 on the shot clock. Dyson. Good move, sweet move by Dyson.
And that's why Patrick Ewing tried to buy a foul that time by flopping slightly on that play, but all it did was give Dyson a lane to the rim. If you're going to take a charge, you better make sure you pick it up.
You mentioned the Huskies need more from Dyson. He's got 70, averages just under 14 a game. Ewing down low to Green. Has the size. Good hands on defense by Jerome Dyson, who was giving up 5 inches there. Dyson, talk about a sweet move. Improvisational look for sure by Dyson. The Huskies will need a lot more of that as they trail 47-34 to the Hoyas. Mike Jaminski joining the Powers with the postseason in mind.
Well, Air Force has been in the top 25 most of the year. Butler, A.J. Graves, maybe one of the best players nobody knows about. Nick Fazekas, an All-American candidate at Nevada, Southern Illinois, one of the best road teams in the country. Let me put a bookmark on Jeff Bedzellik at Air Force. You know how difficult it is to have a service academy in the top 25 in the NCAA?
Yes, absolutely.
Incredible job.
Boy, that RPI ranking of Southern Illinois, number 5. Great block by Thabit from the corner. Sapp off the mark. And this will be, is it going to be on Green? If it is, it will be number 4 on Jeff Green. And it is on Jeff Green. 11:06 left in regulation. Georgetown up by 13 as Green will have to take a seat on the bench.
Let's bookmark that, JV, because Georgetown really struggled in the first half with him on the bench. That's when UConn made a little bit of a run. So let's see if they can take advantage of his presence on the bench.
Price, Robinson, Dyson, Thabit, and Adrian, the 5 for the Huskies. Down low, good pass, excellent pass into the big fella Thabit. And they need a lot more of that from him, Thabit, with only his 6th point.
Did a nice job of keeping his position on the front and gave himself enough room in the backside to go get that lob and score.
And I know that is at Thabit's average, but they'll need some more from him. Sapp, Hibbert, Wallace, DeJuan Summers, and Patrick Ewing Jr., the 5 on offense for the Hoyas. Sapp, right idea, good alert play. Oh, how nice was that? Ewing.
Talk about the guy who needs to come in and pick it up for Green, and that was a great find by Hibbert too, with people all around him.
An outstanding reverse slam by Ewing for his 10th point.
Look at Hibbert's just playing center field, not even looking where Thabit is.
Good defense by Ewing, forcing a high shot by Adrian. We called Ewing Mr. Enthusiasm, not only vocally, certainly by example on that last play.
And not only the great defense by Ewing, but also thinking of where Hibbert is, forced him to put a little extra arc on that shot.
Sapp short. Adrian with the rebound, ahead to Dyson. 9:17 left in regulation. From the corner, off the mark, rebounded by Wallace.
A little too quick in the shot clock that time for Robinson. We talked about taking a good shot instead of a quick shot.
Again, a lot of youth on this UConn team. 1 of 6 from three-point range. Will this experience, the challenges they've gone through this season, carry over well for next?
Why, you know, you get guys court time, and I think they need to establish a point guard and but certainly, you know, it's while it's painful, growing pains usually hard, JV, and I think it will help them. Here's a look inside, and here you see Hibbert not forcing things. And the one thing about this offense, players are always going to be making cuts, and that's just an aggressive move to the basket. Everybody had lost track of where Ewing was.
And Mike, as sweet as that slam was by Ewing, the pass by Hibbert just as beautiful. Just as beautiful. Talk about just alert court sense on the part of the big fella. As Robinson takes a seat for the Huskies, and in comes Marcus Johnson. Hibbert is showing an awful lot today. A complete game. (51-36). Hoyas over the Huskies. 8:41 left in regulation. Dyson. Adrian hustling. It will stay Huskies ball. Tomorrow on CBS, a whitewater challenge takes the game to the highest level of danger yet. A new Amazing Race All-Stars tomorrow on CBS. Out of bounds play for the Huskies. Adrian. In and out. Rebounded strong by the Hoyas. Jesse Sapp ahead to Wallace. Pulls up for the J. Nice.
He had good board coverage, and boy, he's so smart in picking and choosing when he takes that shot.
Yes, indeed. Boy, what a sweet move that time by Dyson. Jerome Dyson out of Rockville, Maryland, with the sweet move to the hoop. He's got 9, and it's a 53-36. Make that 38 lead by the Hoyas. Games following us here on CBS today. It'll be the second-ranked UCLA Bruins taking on Washington. And later today at 4 Eastern, #1 Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan, how badly do they need a victory?
Well, they're coming off a great win against Michigan State. That was the first must-win, and that would be a huge win against Ohio State. Get them over, get them plus 500. They've already got 20 wins, so I think they could make a compelling case. They'll probably have to make a nice run in the Big Ten tournament.
And with Selection Sunday coming up next week, again, you mentioned a lot of teams included in the mix as you look at championship opportunities.
I think a lot of the #1 seeds are going to be taken care of in the tournaments. I don't know that they're, you know, UCLA may be the closest thing to a lock right now, JB, but after that, Florida has not played great down the stretch. North Carolina has not played great.
Interested to hear where you think this Hoyas team might fit, as well as they go inside the Hibbert. Count it.
Well, it's interesting that Jim Calhoun going small outside, and Kelly just a mismatch. The great feed inside. Right, Hibbert just having his way in the paint.
And the big fella showing all kinds of talent. 17 points on the afternoon for the big fella from Georgetown. Hoyas on top, 55-38. As we take a look at the game summary here, the Hoyas really have amped it up here in the second half from the field goal, improving by 20 percentage points in shooting. And coming off of Monday's loss to Syracuse up in Syracuse, the Hoyas playing far better basketball. They've been in the conversation at times for a #1 seed in the NCAAs. Your thought?
Well, early on, JB, I thought the loss to Old Dominion and the home loss to Oregon hurt them. It got them off the radar a little bit. But now, if they win this game, that's 12 of 13, and I really believe if they win the Big East tournament, they've got to be in the conversation for the top line, the #1 seed.
And certainly, as far as Connecticut is concerned, certainly an at-large bid is out of the question for them. They will have to win the Big East tournament to do that, and the only team to win 4 straight in the Big East last year, Syracuse, behind Mr. McNamara. Adrian down low, foul. Mike, you were interested in this big man matchup. Take a look at it, decidedly in favor of Hibbert.
And Hibbert scoring much more above his average. To be, that's about what he does, and in any points he gives them, but the rebounds a little bit down. But I'm really going to be curious to see how Thabit improves over the next year or two. He's only been playing basketball for 4 years, JB, so this all very much new to him. I think his upside's incredible.
You know what, and let's give him credit because he certainly has the talent as well, too, and the attitude. Nice off-the-glass shot there by A.J. Price.
Now UConn forced to extend pressure, try to get into, but you know what, with the guards that Georgetown has, very tough to try to get in and get into him. They're trying to take advantage of Wallace being out of the game, but Sapp very capable of running this team.
Rivers, Sapp, Hibbert, Summers, and Ewing Jr., the 5 on the floor for the Hoyas. Turnover. Alert look there by Price. 14 turnovers by each team.
This is an interesting time for Georgetown with both Green and Wallace out of the ball game right now. Maybe an opportunity for UConn to see if they can take advantage and cut into this lead.
UConn will need to step it up a bit. An attempt there, no good. 6:18 left in regulation, a 16-point lead by the Hoyas.
It's just been a small basket for Dyson in this game. 4 of 10 shooting from the field, has not hit a 3. This is a guy who's been averaging 20 points a game over the last 5.
And again, that poor outside shooting, non-existent, in fact, for the Huskies. And Jim Calhoun has talked about that. They're 1 of 8 from three-point line. Blocking foul. That one called on Jeff Adrian, his second. 1-1.
It's a difficult thing about playing this team in Georgetown, and if you're a big player, you have to guard people out on the floor, and that's not what they're used to doing. Adrian probably much more comfortable in on the low block. Thabit the same way, but they're forced to play away from the rim against Georgetown.
Georgetown has been doing an excellent job at the free throw line. 10 of 11 free throws today. Ewing at the line. Off the back of the iron. Rebounded by Summers. And again, put it down low, making himself smaller. Tomorrow on CBS, an unwed mother who was sent away discovers a secret and never comes back. Don't miss a new episode of Cold Case tomorrow on CBS.
Georgetown done a nice job in this game, switching up defenses, going man, and then showing zone with it, which they're in now.
Austrie, Johnson, Thabit, Wiggins, and Adrian, the 5 for the Huskies of Connecticut. Down low to Adrian. Good hands by Ewing to deflect the ball. And again, Mike, you've talked about that. A big guy, Adrian, making himself smaller where he positioned the ball.
Right, and it's, you know, Ewing does a great job of digging in. You had Hibbert behind you, so you're a little reluctant to make a move. And while you're thinking about that, Ewing comes in for the strip.
Didn't have the ball up high. Hibbert does. Left hand shot off the back of the iron, showing his ambidexterity. Wiggins. Strong rebound by Sapp. Here come the Hoyas. If it's not there, they bring it out to set it up. Rivers, number 5 of the Hoyas, getting some good experience as a freshman as well. The Hoyas have got some talented youngsters coming in next year in the backcourt. And Chris Wright from St. John's locally and Austin Freeman from DeMatha. Good follow by Hibbert. Couldn't hold on to it.
You talked about what he's able to do. He put it on the deck from about 10 feet away, one dribble, and a nice hook shot. That one just didn't go down.
Thabit, chance to show his stuff. Foul by Hibbert. Second foul for Hibbert. 4:19 left in regulation and a mountain to climb by the Huskies. Rivers and Summers to the bench for Georgetown. Austrie to the bench for the Huskies. So it's Wiggins, Dyson, Adrian, Johnson, and Thabit for the Huskies.
And Georgetown able to survive that stretch without having much of their lead evaporate with those two on the bench. Foul called on Wallace, his second.
Tell you, I love the attitude of Wallace, and it's a 1-and-1, 17 foul for Georgetown. That triggers the 1-and-1. Hibbert to the bench, getting a nice hand from the folks here at the Verizon Center.
Talk about Dyson, no lack of toughness on his part. A game really against DePaul. Law had a tooth and a half knocked out in that game. Didn't miss any time at all. Stayed right in there and played. I think he's a guy who's really going to blossom if he gets a guy, and you know, Price is that guy who steps up and improves next year, or they get a guy who can command the ball. It frees up Dyson to be the thing that he is, which is a scorer.
I think I might have called a taxi and headed straight to the dentist myself.
Oh, it's such a pretty face. I understand that.
Oh, no, that's with you, not me. Pretty and JB certainly don't go together. Green back in for the Hoyas, showing his good ball handling out high. Vernon Macklin, Jonathan Wallace, Patrick Ewing Jr., and Jesse Sapp, the 5 for the Hoyas. Good move by Sapp. Rebounded by Kelly.
He had to do that, only 3 seconds on the shot clock, so was forced to make a move and was able to create one.
From the corner, off the mark. Dyson rebounded down low by Kelly. Kept alive, but rebounded by Macklin.
And this is the problem UConn has had, this little snapshot of their season. They're getting stops, but they're unable to score on the other end to get into this game.
Well, a different Hoyas team than Monday when Syracuse took them to town. They're comfortably ahead here. Strange to see those first two names on the left unranked at this point in the season.
Now, Kentucky have a very tough schedule this year, 20-9, but you got Tubby Smith, Tom Izzo, who have won national championships, so they've got that going in their favor. UNLV, you know, talked about Nick Fazekas and his play, and then Greg Marshall at Winthrop. I think this may be the year they might get a win in the NCAA tournament. You know, they've been there, but have had really heartbreaking losses. That they're going to be a very dangerous team come tournament time.
Maybe a breakthrough year for them. Adrian with the score, fouled by Ewing. Jeff Adrian certainly has been a steadying, strong force in this game for the Huskies. He's got 12.
And that's penetration really causing all that, and all you need to do, lurk along the baseline and make yourself available. Did a good job of keeping the defense on his back. You open up and make yourself a receiver, good things happen. He is a very strong player around the rim.
And to amplify on that, while he has not had a strong scoring day, he certainly has been active and aggressive down low as he goes for the free throw there. No good. UConn trailed by only 4 at the half, but have only put up about 16 points, make that 15 here in the second half.
And Adrian hasn't had anybody step up. He's the only double-figure scorer for UConn right now.
And a foul by Kelly. Bubble watch with respect to the Big East and those with work to do, Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be tough in West Virginia. Their strength of schedule, DePaul, Providence, a lot of work to do in the tournament. I think Syracuse is in. And Villanova, again, that's a team historically that you're not used to seeing in the lower half of the division of this conference, but they could be a tough out as well.
Syracuse certainly showed some fire from the outside against Georgetown on Monday. And boy, this kid, Scotty Reynolds, a freshman for Villanova, flat out can play. Wallace wisely bringing it back out and decides to take it to the hoop. Good move on his part. Adrian again in the action with the rebound.
I think Coach Thompson might want a little more clock run on that pre-cycle.
Probably so. Oh, wow. Strong pick set by Adrian. Ewing hit the floor. Maybe a little sauce in that act there, but it was effective.
Well, here's the look, and he showed his flexibility, and then it's just that Adrian was moving that time, and he got the arm up, but more of a forearm shiver. A good call on that play, but we've seen Ewing guard Adrian. We've seen him guard people out on the perimeter, and he's invaluable. And JB, his time has increased. Last 2 games, he's played 23 minutes per, so I think his role is going to expand in the postseason.
And there was a little hand in that act there by Ewing for sure, but it worked. Green, 3. 14 for Green. Under 2 to play in regulation.
His numbers may not reflect it. I think he's the best player in this conference.
You won't find many who will argue with that, Mike.
Yeah, you know, you're used to seeing eye-popping numbers from that guy, but that doesn't happen in this system, but he does everything.
but those with an acute eye see very well that he can have a big impact, even more so the next level. And stopping the action there Monday. See why Rules of Engagement is TV's #1 new comedy. David Spade and Patrick Warburton star in a new episode Monday on CBS right after 2.5 Men.
This win puts an exclamation point on an incredible regular season for Georgetown in the Big East. 13-3, as I said at the top, that is no small accomplishment in this league.
And again, going back to our point at the top of the show, Georgetown doing its part to try and secure that #1 seed and win the Big East outright with a win here today. Now awaiting action tonight to see if Pittsburgh loses, then that scenario would come to fruition for the Hoyas. 1:18 left. Green being defended by Adrian. Good move, but a walk. A little too much of a move. So the Huskies played as well as could be expected without a lot of outside shooting and poor free throw shooting against Villanova on Wednesday. But Georgetown having its way here in the second half against the Huskies. Robinson nails the outside shot.
That's just
Georgetown up by 15. Timeout, Hoyas. Today's Chevrolet players of the game are Jeff Adrian from Connecticut and Roy Hibbert from Georgetown. In recognition of their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. America's brand supports America's best. Chevy, an American revolution.
very well deserving for Hibbert. He really established himself in the first minute of this game and gave his team a lot of confidence.
And John Thompson wanted to get his two seniors in. There's one of them right there with the ball. Sid Dizdarevic and also Kenny Izzo are in the game for the Hoyas. Adrian with the slam for the Huskies.
He was too honored before the game in the ceremony. Nice to see the seniors get a part of this party.
And a good move, certainly, on Coach Thompson's part to make it happen. With the shot off the back of the iron. Kenny Izzo with the shot, hoping to score. Dyson blocked by the Hoyas.
Izzo with the block.
Good play by Izzo. He'll remember that. And the fans showing their appreciation for the Hoyas, who have bounced back in impressive fashion after their loss on Monday to Syracuse. The Hoyas pick up their 23rd win in the season, 13th in conference. Let's take you to New York City and Greg Gumbel.
Very much so. The Georgetown Hoyas looking very, very impressive. And, of course, UConn with their struggles, 59-46